Students, today we are going to start about the fifth chapter, that is laws of motion. So we are going to discuss about, as we have seen that when we talk about laws of motion, the very first name which comes, that is called the Aristotle. String. Aristotle was the first Greek thinker around body is doing some tension force equal to keep it moving, who stated that a force is required to keep a body in motion. So Aristotle's observation was that a force is always required to keep a body in motion. Okay. But later on, when Newton came, he said that the force is not required all the time. It is required when your surface is friction. The surface is of friction surface. If it is frictionless surface, no force is required because the body itself will be keep moving. Okay. Then this was the some thinkings, and he performed some experiments which we have discussed in our 9th standard. Okay. So later on, the next came, that was Galileo. Next was the Galileo, one who performed the experiments on inclined plane. And inclined plane or plane surface. And it comes to a conclusion that that he concludes that he introduced the inertia. What is inertia actually? He coined the term inertia. Actually, inertia is, you can say just like that, it is something that when we talk about honesty comes when there is an honest person. If there is an honest person, there is honesty. Similarly, actually the inertia simply means the mass. Actually we cannot say this, but it is, you can say it indicates the mass. And it is the common observation that more the mass, more the inertia. For example, if I ask you to lift a 50 kg weight, or at the same time I ask you to lift the 5 kg weight, you will feel comfortable when you are lifting the 50 kg weight. It means it's simply that more the mass, more the inertia. And if at the same time, if you want to move this object which is at rest, you have to apply the more force. Once the object is in motion and if you want to stop it, so you at the same time, if it is already in motion, to stop it you have to apply the more force. For example, if a bicycle is coming to you and if I ask you to stop it with your physical force, so may you can stop it. But when I ask you that a train is coming and try to stop it with your physical power, you will fail. Why this is? Because if same speed, suppose a bicycle is coming with the speed 60 km per hour and you are the one who is going to stop it, bicycle. May you can stop, may you can. But if bicycle is replaced by a train or a car, I think you can't do it. You would not like to do it. So that why this is going to be happen? With the same speed, if the next one object is train or car, you will not make it possible. You will never be agree to do this. The reason behind is very simple, that you are knowing that the train and car have the huge bodies, they contains more mass. So here the actually inertia indicates the more mass. More the mass, more the inertia. So actually Galileo coined the term inertia, and he said that when an object is at rest, it remains in rest. When it is in motion, okay, unless an external force is not applied on it. It was the observation of Galileo. So he was the thinker and stated like this, and later on it came the Galileo performed many experiments on inclined planes. Okay, sometimes the objects were coming and going. Okay, so sometimes he was doing these stuffs. One inclined plane was this side, and he used the two inclined planes like this. Objects were coming from here and going like this. Okay, then he laid it down little bit, increase the angle, we change the slope, and also perform the same experiment again and again. Then he comes to know that this is inertia is something. Okay, so inertia is something which is actually always, it's a property of every matter. So finally stated that inertia is a property of every matter. Because of this inertia, if a body is at rest, it wants to remain at rest. If it is in motion, it wants to keep in motion till an external force is not acted on it. The only these statements are true when your surface is frictionless. I am repeating it again. Because if you are talking in terms of friction full surfaces or the surface with friction, then these statements are not valid over there. So these statements are hold valid. These all are true when you are talking about the surfaces which are frictionless surfaces. So inertia simply means the inertia is the property of matter due to which it opposes change in its present state. I mean to say present state means if it is at rest, it wants to remain in rest. If you try to bring it in motion, it will oppose. That's why if there is a body which is very used body, if you want to disturb it from its place, if you want to displace it, you have to apply this. Suppose a truck is standing, a rock is lying on the ground. If you want to displace it, may you have to apply the more force. But if you are not going to do anything, this rock or stone is lying on the ground for years. It means the inertia is a property of all matter, which always opposes the change in its present. Present means what? Present state means what? If it is at rest, it wants to remain in rest. If it is in motion, it will keep in motion unless external force is applied. Some of the people believe that these statements were of Newton's first law. Take it note like this. When you talk about the laws of motion, first you have to understand the history. Then in history, if you discuss if you discuss the history, you have to understand about the Aristotle, which did the very big job. It was a good work in the dynamics. These all laws are the foundation of mechanics. This laid the foundation of mechanics. So far these are the two rules. Now later on we are going to discuss about the resistance to change. Inertia is nothing, it's a resistance to change. This is actually resistance to change. Means a body, doesn't matter it is in rest or motion, but it never wants to change its present condition or the situation. That's why that's something which always opposes its change. That was known as a term inertia. Now, as we all know about the Newton's laws of motion, so Newton's laws why the Newton become famous? Because of he represent the motion in a very package. He represent a motion in terms of a package. There was full of package. There were three laws of motion, where the first law was nothing. It was the only statement which was taken from Galileo's. He just repeated the Galileo's first statement. Okay, then his first law comes the law of inertia. When we talk about Newton's law of motion, the first law comes of law of inertia. The law of inertia simply states that the same statement is here. If an object is at rest, it wants to remain at rest, and it is the same statement. So we have already discussed about the Galileo's statement is the laws of inertia. So actually the Galileo's same statement. Now we can see the many examples why Newton actually give this. Suppose when you are traveling in a bus, and if you are sitting or on a seat, or you are standing in the bus, and if sudden brakes are applied by the driver, and what happens that you you goes in front, or you maybe gets a jerk which leads your body in forward direction. Simply if you are standing, and suddenly if someone starts the bag, you goes backward. So this is something. And if suppose your vehicle is moving, sometimes some peoples in train are falling down, and this all stuffs. And if you are getting down from a fast moving train, when it is entering the platform, if you try to get down from the train, then what happens, some of the people's uh, meets with accidents, and are they lost their lives. Why this is happening? Because simple law of motion is law of inertia. It simply stated that if an object is at rest, it wants to remain at rest. If it is in motion, it should. Suppose, let me give this example, that suppose a man wants to get down from a fast moving train on a platform. So if this is the person who is in motion right now, because this train is moving. So when it wants to get down from the train, and this is the platform, what happens, as soon as he brings one foot, it becomes at rest, but its rest of the body remains in motion. So it's a, except the foot, the rest of the body wants to be remains in motion, wants to remains in motion. Okay, but your the body, the foot, the leg which you have uh, kept on the platform, it has become in rest. Now there are two situations with the single body. A single body cannot perform the two tasks at a time. तो इसको मैं हिंदी में बोलता हूँ कि आप एक चलती हुई ट्रेन से प्लेटफॉर्म पे जल्दबाजी के चक्कर में अगर कोई लोग उतरने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो वो गिर जाते हैं, एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है, कई बार अपनी जान खो देते हैं। क्यों ऐसा? न्यूटन का पहला लॉ बताता है कि जब आप मोशन कर रहे हैं, तो ट्रेन अभी मोशन में, आपका बॉडी मोशन में, लेकिन अगर आप एक टांग नीचे रखते हैं, और तो आपका वो जो लेग है, जो ग्राउंड का वेलोसिटी जीरो है, तो आपकी लेग का वेलोसिटी जीरो हो गया। ग्राउंड का वेलोसिटी जीरो होने से आपका लेग का वेलोसिटी जीरो, लेग का वेलोसिटी जीरो हो गया, तो आपकी लेग तो वहीं रहना चाहती है। क्यों? क्योंकि इसको देखो आप ध्यान से, जो चीज़ रेस्ट में, वो रेस्ट में रहना चाहती है। ठीक है, और ऊपर वाला जो आपका हिस्सा है, वो अब मोशन में आ चुका है, तो वो मोशन में जाना चाहता है। नतीजा ये होता है, रिजल्ट, कि आपका बॉडी का अपर पार्ट wants to go with the train, and the lower part has become in rest. So a body is there, this upper part is in motion, and your legs, lower part, or you can say your feet, wants to remain in rest. So two situations arises there, that upper part wants to remain in motion with the train, and the lower part becomes. Now because of this contradiction, at the same body, how can it perform the two tasks? So simply this man falls down on the ground, sometimes it also goes inside and dies. Okay, so this is the Newton's first law. So in we can see the many live examples of our day-to-day life, in where we can understand Newton's first law of motion is important. So Newton's first law of motion is there. To understand the Newton's second law of motion, so first law of motion is same statement of Galileo. If a body is in motion, it remains in motion. If a body is at, so these all things are there. Now second, before going to discuss about the second law of Newton, you have to understand a physical term, that is momentum. Now, to understand the momentum, how can I explain you? Suppose if someone is touching my cheek with his hands, then I think that the person who want to touching my skin, it's okay, it's cool. But if he just, because it has mass, now if we bring the same hand with some velocity, now it will be a part of slab. To slab, it becomes the slab. Means what happened this? Simply, if this is something which I can hold with my on my head, if someone throws it to me, may it can hurt me. Means what happened? These two situations, that if there is a mass, so it's a product of mass and velocity, or you can say the momentum equals to mass into velocity. Mass into velocity. Why the Newton wants to coin it? Because when we apply the force, only velocity changes, mass remains the constant. So because he was trying to let you know that second law of Newton is very simple. Rate of change of momentum is called force. Mathematically, it can be written as force is equals to the change of momentum. So actually this is the Newton's second law, but most of the people knows about this, F equals to ma. This is the result of second law. Newton's second law result is this. Okay, suppose this is your admission and this is your result. This is your admission and this is your result. Admission process is starting of a session and result is the end of that session. So this is the end of second law, this is the starting of second law. So if you want to bring it, you can put this value of momentum over here, which is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity and the direction of is in the direction of velocity. The momentum will be in same direction, because the direction in which the body is moving, the momentum will be in the same direction. If I am pushing something like this, the momentum is like this. If I am doing like this, the momentum is like this. So in which direction you are applying the velocity, that is, if you put this value here, it is also vector. Most of the time in your textbook it is not used. This is your acceleration and finally it is coming to the acceleration, और इसका मैग्नीट्यूड जब हम ले लेंगे तो हमारे पास हो जाएगा F equals to ma. It is simply that when you are applying the force, this is Newton's second law in which you comes to know about the momentum, and this is simple. Newton's second law gives you the first law gives you the definition of force, second law gives you the value of the force. So actually if you want to understand the Newton's first law is only the definition of the force, second law is the value of the force, and if you talk about the third law is very simple, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But you cannot write like this, you have to make the statement. It simply means that suppose when you walk, okay, during the rocket propulsion, Okay, when you walk, what happens? So there are some certain examples that every action has equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so when you walk, your 1 foot goes up, then another goes, if it goes up, the another one goes down. So when you walks, you follows the action and reaction. When a rocket is propulsed, suppose this is the rocket, so here the gases are ejecting, backward, so that rocket is moving forward. Rocket moving forward. The rocket is moving forward. So this is action and this is the reaction. When you walk, your 1 foot goes down, another foot goes up. Means हमारा जो पाँव होता है उसका जो अगर हम ऐसे उठाते हैं तो दूसरे पाँव की एड़ी नीचे जाती है और एड़ी ऊपर आती है तो ये नीचे जाता है. दिस सिस्टम इज ऑलवेज वर्क्स. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर एबल टू वॉक बिकॉज ऑफ द थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशन. So these are the all 3 laws of motion which maybe you are knowing. And the very next we will be talking about the impulse. What is impulse? Impulse also is related with the term, as there was momentum, the same term is there, impulse. These are the 3 laws of Newton. Now we are going to understand the impulse also. Impulse is the product of force into time. It is denoted by impulse equal to force into time, and its SI unit is, it is also vector quantity. SI unit is Newton into second. And you can use the, when a cricketer catches a ball, ओके जब एक क्रिकेटर, एक फील्डर एक बॉल को कैच करता है तो वो, या विकेट कीपर जब बॉल को कैच करता है तो थोड़ी देर तक उसको अपने हाथ में लेकर चलता है. इसका मतलब क्या है कि उसको थोड़ा टाइम देना पड़ता है. और गेटिंग, जैसे कोई छोटा बच्चा होता है, रो रहा होता है, उसको गोद में लेकर थोड़ा टाइम देना पड़ता है तो चुप हो जाता है. तो वो एक एग्जाम्पल है, और ये फिजिक्स है कि आपने बॉल को कैच किया, अगर आप यहीं पे इस हाथ को यहीं पे रखेंगे तो आपको चोट लगेगी, आपको हर्ट होगा, इधर हाथ आपका, it can be injured. But if you follow this rule, if you catch the ball and if you are taking some time, if you are holding some time, if you maybe you have seen in cricket, when the wicket keeper is catching a ball, it is taking it out. Why? Because it is spending some time with the force. Someone is applied the force and is spending some time. That's why it is impulse. Why it is doing this? Because as the ball catches, ball comes, the ball is coming with a very high speed, means its momentum is very high, so it can hurt your hands. Okay, to reduce this, initially the ball is coming with a very high momentum. To bring it zero momentum, you have to apply some force up to some time. That's why till the momentum is not going to be zero, and if you are doing this, maybe you are not going to hurt or not going to be injured. So the impulse also is an important physical quantity which is important to understand here. Thank you very much.